is facing cross-examination at the inquest into the death of anti-apartheid activist Neil Aggett in the High Court in Johannesburg. For an update, we cross live to our colleague Nozintombi Miya. A very good morning to you, Nozintombi. What's transpired since this morning?
Well, a very good morning to you, Desiree. It certainly has been quite an interesting morning. Nicolaas Deetlefs, who was a former security police officer, is on the stand under cross-examination. And what's been quite interesting, Desiree, that's come out this morning has been that in the testimony that he has both testified to orally and also written, there seems to have been some holes that are poked into it. Now, you'll recall yesterday, Deetlefs told the court how he was well known for his interrogation or his questioning that was non-violent, and that he prided himself on having conversations with the detainees to try and ascertain crucial information from them and put them at ease. But today, what was quite interesting, a further hole in his testimony, is that he admitted to the fact that he had slapped Barbara Hogan when she herself was under detention at the John Foster Square. And you'll recall that Barbara Hogan had written the Close Comrades document with which the security police at the time were trying to pin her down to and get information about underground ANC operatives and other anti-apartheid operatives who were banned persons or underground operatives. So it is quite interesting, Desiree, to see this part of his testimony about the interrogation techniques that Deetlefs himself had admitted to using, being questioned, and that particular hole being poked in such a critical part of his testimony, Desiree.
Is there a sense coming out of the court that the family, their case is being strengthened?
You know, yesterday what was quite important before Advocate Howard, who represents the Aggett family, really began his cross-examination in earnest, he put it to Nicolaas Deetlefs that as the Aggett family, they are willing to forgive and not pursue any further prosecution against any of the former security police officers if they tell the truth under oath here at this particular inquiry. However, he also issued a very stern warning on behalf of the Aggett family that if any of the former security officers are found to have lied under oath in this particular inquest, they would face the full might of prosecution by the law, and that the Aggett family would not rest until prosecution of each one of them who had lied under oath is finally brought to book. And this is really quite an interesting, position from the Aggett family, Desiree. And this is interesting because it shows that in spite of 38 years after the death of Dr. Neil Aggett, the Aggett family still has compassion for the very perpetrators of his death. And, it shows such humility from the Aggett family that they are willing to forgive and forget so long as the truth comes out. And it's so important for them. Yesterday we spoke to Jill, the sister of Dr. Neil Aggett, and for her, it's just about getting to the truth. And she was quite unhappy with the way that Nicolaas Deetlefs has conducted his testimony yesterday and today. And she feels that he has not been fully honest and he hasn't told the truth of what he knows. And I suppose, Desiree, this really does go back to the issue of the former security branch officers sticking to that code of secrecy and silence and hiding information and keeping to that brotherhood of former security officers and not telling the truth, covering up the truth really as you may. And this really will be problematic for them if, as we see throughout this week, more of the former security police officers coming to this particular court to conduct their testimony. If there are more lies, it will be problematic for them because they will possibly face more prosecution. And this will not really give the Aggett family the truth and the closure that they really seek. Desiree.
Any other witnesses we're expecting today?
Well, today we are expecting that Deetlefs will continue with the rest of the cross-examination and the re-examination by his counsel, and we will be expecting a different witness from tomorrow who is also a former security police officer that had some dealings with Aggett in the days and the months before he died at the John Foster Square on the very early hours of the 5th of February in 1982. So it certainly is shaping up to be quite an interesting week. And what is quite interesting, Desiree, about this particular week is that it's quite different to what we've seen over the past 4 weeks, where it's been testimonies from detainees. But what I'm getting is a signal from my camera person and producer that Judge Motsamai is making his way back. We only have 15 minutes in this particular tea break, and we hope we've given you really quite insightful details about what has happened so far this morning in the Aggett Inquest, Desiree.
Let's let you go. We don't want to keep up the processes. Our colleague Nozintombi Miya there.